Now on CoastTV News.
The final debate with no more scheduled exchanges of ideas between the presidential candidates. The vice presidential candidates tried to make the case for their side.
Staff shortage with dozens of teachers set to be off on Friday. Laurel Schools are going online for a day.
Dogs are back on the beach in Rehoboth. The city now allowing furry friends to hang out on the boardwalk and in the sand.
And hurricane relief, how the people on Delmarva can help the families still struggling after the damage of Helene.
And we're tracking a few light showers, possibly for Wednesday, but the skies are eventually going to clear up as we go into the latter portion of the work week. I'll have your complete breakdown of your forecast coming up.
This is CoastTV News at 11.
A one-on-one between presidential campaign number two's. Good evening. I'm Charlie Sakaitis.
I'm Christina DeRobertis. Welcome to Coast TV News at 11. We begin tonight with the vice presidential debate. The vice presidential candidates took the debate stage Tuesday night, hoping to give their campaigns a boost.
The debate took place just hours after an Iranian missile attack on Israel and as key battleground states struggle with the devastation of Hurricane Helene.
Corinne Kafa has the highlights from Washington.
The vice presidential nominees Tuesday night with no shortage of hot-button issues to tackle, like immigration.
Donald Trump had 4 years. He had 4 years to do this, and he promised you, America, how easy it would be. I'll build you a big, beautiful wall.
I think you want to solve this problem, but I don't think that Kamala Harris does.
Tuesday, the only scheduled debate between Republican Senator J.D. Vance of Ohio and Democratic Governor Tim Walz of Minnesota. During the forum hosted by CBS News in New York, they highlighted differences between their campaigns, including foreign policy, on the heels of an Iranian missile attack on Israel.
We had a coalition of nations that had boxed Iran's nuclear program in, the inability to advance it. Donald Trump pulled that program and put nothing else in its place.
You yourself just said Iran is as close to a nuclear weapon today as they have ever been. And Governor Walz, you blame Donald Trump. Who has been the vice president for the last 3.5 years? And the answer is your running mate, not mine.
And at home, the economy.
I know a lot of you are struggling. I know a lot of you are worried about paying the bills. It's going to stop when Donald Trump brings back common sense to this country.
Kamala Harris has said to do the things she wants to do, we'll just ask the wealthiest to pay their fair share. When you do that, our system works best.
The window for swaying undecided voters is narrowing. Voters in some states are already casting ballots by mail or in early voting. In Washington, I'm Karen Kafa.
On Friday, October 4th, the Laurel School District will implement an asynchronous or fully online learning day. The district says it's due to more than 70 staff absences, impacting its ability to maintain a safe classroom environment. Students will receive independent assignments, and teachers will be available through email for any questions.
Let's take a live look now outside into Ocean City. Our First Alert Chief Meteorologist Paul Williams joins us now with a look at the weather. Good evening, Paul.
Good evening to you, Christina. And as we begin to take a look at our expectations, listen, we had a high today of 75 degrees. And as you take a look at outside, we're looking at our tunnel and razor camera. We're looking at a temperature of 67 degrees. But you'll notice that the winds are dancing rather rapidly right now, coming out of the east right now, and we're going to continue to have very gusty winds as a result of that, and keeping in mind that more in the way of scattered showers in our neck of the woods beginning to diminish a bit for us. Temperatures will settle into the 60s. Now, keep it in mind that as we kind of go forward here, you'll notice that we have the temperatures right now in the 60s, so we're relatively mild right now, but we're hard-pressed to pick up much in the way of scattered showers. The winds are still knifing out of the northeast pretty steadily, but here's our big story. We're concerned about the possibility of flooding or coastal flooding because now they've been extended a little bit more. So we're going to update you on the latest as it pertains to these advisories. Until then, back to you, Charlie.
Thank you, Paul. The price to fill up your tank has fluctuated a lot in the past few weeks, but they have been going down, those prices. The lowest we've seen was just under $3 last week. That is nearly a full dollar lower than the cost of gas a year ago. Jack Sudamak says the prices are a lot lower than he's used to, but also he wants them to stay that way.
I think in order to kind of tame inflation, they need to establish a long-term price that's going to be lower, and that'll help tame inflation because the cost of transporting goods and services will go down.
We might see the cost of fuel change with the war in the Middle East, but for now, prices are better than drivers have been used to.
Delawareans up and down the state are looking to help fellow Americans in need in the aftermath of Hurricane Helene. Local businesses and churches are hosting Hurricane Helene relief donation drives. Sherry Long is a veteran and is accepting donations at Old Paths Church of Christ in Georgetown. Long says as a veteran, this service is special to her.
This is not about a party. This is not about a partisanship. This is about caring about your fellow man. Someone needs. And we need to help one another. That's what we're supposed to do.
The first round of donations will be accepted at Old Paths Church of Christ up until Friday, and you can drop off your items between 9 a.m. and noon.
Good dogs are allowed back on Rehoboth Beach, the boardwalk, and that, of course, is with a leash.
The city does not allow dogs anywhere other than the side streets on Rehoboth Ave in the more active months. And as Coast TV News reporter Brendan Conroy shows us, dog owners could not be more excited.
Tails are wagging and the pups are smiling, as dogs are once again allowed back on the beach and boardwalk in the city of Rehoboth. Ann Oreskovich has 3 dogs of her own and says today is a big day for her and her happy pups.
Look forward to October 1st every year. They love the fact that they can interact with people, they can meet lots of kids and other people, and especially for them, I think it's really also a really valuable experience.
One dog owner says she wishes she could do this in the summertime with her golden Bodie as well.
I understand it's crowded and there's lots of people, but it would be nice because there are more things open. Like we walked each direction and a lot of places are closed. So anyway, it would have been nice.
Kevin McKenney says there is nothing like it.
Feels like freedom, to walk her up and down the boardwalk again. And I see the difference in her. She really loves being out here again.
The long wait to bring dogs back to the beach comes to a close with a whole litter of them on the boardwalk, barking and panting and excited to see fellow fluffy friends.
Today marks the first day since April that our little furry friends were allowed both on the beach and on the boardwalk. And after seeing a ton of them out here today, they seemed pretty excited to be back. In Rehoboth Beach, Brendan Conroy, Coast TV News.
Some good dogs in there. For the past few years, the city of Rehoboth Beach has been talking about repaving Rehoboth Avenue, which is that main strip of road in the downtown area. Although some work has started, a big part of it is now going to be moved until next year. The city announced on Monday that the paving portion of the Rehoboth Avenue project has been delayed at least until spring, if not fall, due to DelDOT budget cuts. While the milling and paving of Rehoboth Avenue has been delayed, work is currently underway on curbing and concrete. The city says that no work will take place after 6 a.m. Thursday, October 23rd. That's in preparation for Sea Witch. And this brings us to our Coast TV poll. We want to know, how should DelDOT adjust to budget cuts? Let's take a look at the results.
Well, it looks like a bit of a change from the last time we checked. Excuse me. Earlier, most people were saying seek more funding, but right now 42% saying DelDOT should delay their projects. Still some saying scale down their plans and increase taxes.
If you haven't voted on this yet, you still can at coasttvnews.com or use the Coast TV mobile app.
Well, the artwork that brought so much joy is being restored to its former glory. And the developing artist collaboration is getting a little financial help from Sussex County to complete it. The mural was originally commissioned in 2022 to help preserve the African-American history of the Rehoboth community, but earlier this summer, a bad break. A car smashed into the mural, destroying pieces of the artwork first created by Terrence Vann. And while it's a setback, the DAC is now rebuilding. Leah Beach, the founder of the organization, says they went right back to work.
It's really important to continue to preserve the original Black and Brown community as much as we can. And so much of that is honoring the history, which is so unknown by so many people.
The refurbished version of this mural is now almost complete, and that process has been made a little easier thanks to a $2,000 grant from Sussex County to help put on the finishing touches.
We've got more news to get into this evening.
Still to come, help wanted. The number of available jobs is going up.
And also rockets over Israel, Iran launching missiles, defenses holding strong, and now questions about a looming response.
And as we take a diagnostic look at our Bay forecast, we're starting to see a pattern of clearing. A bit cloudy on Wednesday, partly cloudy on Thursday, and then voila on Friday. We'll talk more about that coming up in 60 seconds.
Hurricane season is here, which means power outages can strike anytime without warning. Don't get caught in the dark. Let the expert electricians at FH Fur install a Generac whole home standby generator, keeping your lights on, your family connected, and your home safe no matter what. Call FH Fur today and get $1,000 off. Plus, for a limited time, we'll include a whole home surge protector absolutely free. When Mother Nature strikes, it's too late. Stay powered, stay safe with FH Fur.
877-CALL-FUR. FHFur.com.
Rural communities are on the front lines of a changing climate. Farmers can implement climate-smart practices that improve soil health, nutrient management, and energy efficiency. These practices improve our profitability, resiliency, and help to open new markets.
We know voluntary conservation works and are committed to working with farmers and forest landowners to leverage resources to increase climate resiliency through conservation practices. To learn more about climate-smart practices, scan this QR code to find your local USDA service center.
Listen, we're a bit on the cloudy side for right now, and we're going to stay that way for right now. But we have a bit of a clearing pattern that, well, let's just say it brings a little spring to your step to enjoy maybe a little more sunshine as you go into the weekend. Okay, we'll get to that in just a moment. First of all, our Irish Eyes camera in Lewis highlighting the fact that, hey, we're cloudy for right now, temperature of 67 degrees. Pretty normal stuff for this time of the year. Now, we'll sink down to about 66 and not move beyond there too much. With the cloud cover in place, it acts like a blanket, keeping what radiational energy we have in place, kind of keeps it bouncing back and forth from the sky or the lower clouds back to the ground. So that keeps us a bit on the mild side. Ultimately, today, we had a normal day. Let me show you what I mean. 75 for the high, 75 is where we're supposed to be. Not bad. Now, we didn't dip quite down to 56, but 64 degrees. I think if we shade towards the warmer weather, I think we'll be okay with that, being that we enjoyed the beach anyhow. We are currently sliding nicely with temperatures in the 60s, 68 degrees in Rehoboth Beach, all the way down towards Bethany Beach, all the way down to Ocean City. And in addition to that, the winds are primarily pushing out of the northeast, but we have some gusts at about 25 miles per hour in Indian River Inlet, 20 mile per hour wind gusts coming out of the northeast for Rehoboth Beach. Now, real quick, we do have some concerns for some gusty winds along the coast. And so we have some advisories we need to pass along to you. First of all, we still have the active and reinvigorated or reinitiated coastal flood advisory for all of Sussex. Now, that's staying in effect until Wednesday noon. So this is for all Bayside cities. You know, if you're near a large body of water, Dewey Beach, Long Neck, Ocean View, in those areas, Millsboro as well, possibility there. But we also have that concern for coastal flood advisory for places like Nanticoke, Crisfield, Cambridge, in those areas until 8 o'clock. So that's for Dorchester, Somerset, and Wacomico. This goes all the way down to like Cape Charles, really, and really Highway 13 all the way down. Now, this is kind of everybody because most of the entire part of this part of the peninsula is covered by water anyway. And that's what we mean by coastal flood advisory. You're near the water already, and that could possibly cause the problem. Beach hazard statement. This is really the possibility of riptides, particularly this one with North Ocean City, and West Ocean City. But here's the thing that's really causing most of the ruckus, so to speak, that we can visually see. Small craft advisory, looking for 25 mile per hour wind gusts, or maybe even a little bit more, until 8 o'clock for Wednesday, off of the shore for us in Ocean City, but also off of the coast for us for all of Sussex County. You see, right now, we are avoiding a great deal of rain that was initially scheduled to kind of shift in our direction. But because a lingering high pressure system is in place and kind of put a cap on it, it kind of put the brakes over here. So this low pressure system, instead of being over here, slid directly more over here. And we have the cold front that's pushing through right behind it. So that's going to reinforce another wave of rain. But because it's not all that moist, it's kind of losing a lot of its oomph. What we are going to do is pick up a little bit more on the moisture content. You see, we're going to stay at comfy for the most part Thursday, Friday, but then we start getting from Friday going to Saturday, we get into this muggy zone, and the dew point temperatures will be in the 60s. Now, I only bring that up because we're not supposed to be muggy in September or October, excuse me. Let me catch up with you. In October. So this is a little unusual for us to feel some mugginess on Saturday, but that's a likelihood. I mean, we're going to see decreasing cloud cover. You see how temperatures are nicely into like the 70s, 71, 73 throughout Sussex, and 75 in Vienna, for example. And then we're at like 77 and 75 rather in Snow Hill. So for Wednesday, we'll see cloud cover inland, clear skies along the shore. Wednesday night, we'll see clear skies with temperatures in the 60s. Thursday, we'll see that sunshine kick in. We'll have temperatures in the 60s, but we'll stay pretty clear. We go up to the beach and we see steadily in the 70s for us, actually, and we're not worried about precipitation. That's the main thing. 3 days in a row, similar temperatures, no concern for rain. Lewis and Rehoboth Beach reflecting that same situation. So as we round out the forecast, here we go. 63 for tonight, cloudy with a stray shower. 71 for tomorrow, a possible early morning shower, but minuscule. It's dying out as we speak. And then 75 for Thursday, getting a little warmer now. Let's talk about that mugginess. Here's a look at your Paul Davis Restoration Home Remodeling Extended Forecast. I'm looking for the muggies to reintroduce themselves to us with a microphone this upcoming Saturday and Sunday.
Thank you, Paul. Well, tensions continue to rise in the Middle East. Iran has made good on its threats to attack Israel. Earlier, the U.S., which is Israel's ally, said Iran had been preparing an imminent ballistic missile assault against Israel.
And the Pentagon says U.S. Navy destroyers fired roughly a dozen interceptors against Iranian missiles during Tuesday's attack. The Iranian attack is a move that raises concerns of a widening regional conflict.
Michael Yoshida is in Washington, D.C. with the latest.
Go! Bombs and sirens could be heard throughout Israel Tuesday. In Tel Aviv, the starry night filled with what resembled to be shooting stars were actually some of about 200 ballistic missiles, according to the Pentagon, sent from Iran, who says it focused on Israeli security and military targets.
Based on what we know now, the attack appears to have been defeated and ineffective.
The attack, not surprising. This all comes after Israel's launch of a ground operation in southern Lebanon, targeting Iran-backed Hezbollah, and Israel assassinating Hezbollah's leader, Hassan Nasrallah, in a strike in Beirut on Friday. Israeli airstrikes in Lebanon have killed at least 7 high-ranking Hezbollah officials in recent weeks. Tuesday's attack sharply rebuked by the U.S.
This is totally unacceptable, and the entire world should condemn it.
We call on Iran to halt any further attacks, including from its proxy forces. During the attack, the U.S. military coordinated closely with the Israeli Defense Forces to help defend Israel.
Iran's president posted a warning on social media platform X on Tuesday saying, quote, "This action was in defense of the interests and citizens of Iran, to let Netanyahu know that Iran is not belligerent, but it stands firmly against any threat. Do not enter into a conflict with Iran." The attack garnered a response from Israel to Iran. It too had a warning.
Iran made a big mistake tonight, and it will pay for it.
In Washington, I'm Michael Yoshida reporting.
It's hard to believe, but the holiday season, it's going to be here before you know it. And that means the return of Draper Media's Bless Our Children campaign. Through generous donations, we do our best to make sure every child has a present to open on Christmas morning. We do that by supporting charities that handpick families in need. We are accepting funding applications from those nonprofits through October 18th. Still to come, don't eat that. California banning some chemicals from school lunch foods over the fears about their effect on growing bodies and minds.
And up next, another legend lost. A man that played dad in millions of living rooms has died.
A legacy is earned, built on years of trust and reliability. To build the best vehicles with the best value. Right now, get a low 3.99% APR.
This is my legacy.
Toyota, let's go places.
At the Delmarva Design Center, appliances, cabinetry, countertops, tile, and flooring come together in one showroom. We have specialists in each division, like myself in tile, to ensure that you have the best product to fit your needs, and that your selection fits seamlessly with every element of your remodel.
I was able to look at everything that I was looking for from my new kitchen, including the backsplash and the countertop and the sinks all in one place.
Delmarva Design Center. Great design starts with great inspiration. Selbyville, Delaware.
The American black duck is an iconic species well known throughout the Delmarva Peninsula. Although the population is currently stable, they're well below their population goals and they're considered a species of concern. The USDA Natural Resources Conservation Service looks to increase and restore black duck habitat throughout the Delmarva Peninsula.
I utilize the Working Lands for Wildlife program to help transform a low-lying wet area into waterfowl habitat.
To learn more about the Working Lands for Wildlife program, contact your local USDA Service Center.
Be charmed by Lewis.
Visit our unique shops and restaurants.
Make the season unforgettable with a stunning gift from Conversation Piece Jewelers. From engagements to milestones, every piece tells a story.
Villa Sorrento at 5 Points. Join us for our fall and winter specials. Mambo Italiano. That's a nice.
Beautiful Nassau Valley Vineyards. The perfect place for tours, tastings, and impeccable events. Making award-winning Delaware wines for 31 years.
Lots to do and see.
In Lewis.
Late Night with Seth Meyers. Late nights on Coast TV.
This is Coast TV News at 11.
Another day, another death of a beloved icon, an actor best known for his roles in Roots and the sitcom Good Times, has died. John Amos died August 21st in Los Angeles at 84 years old, but it was just Tuesday that his son confirmed his father died of natural causes. He said his father loved working as an actor throughout his life. Amos starred as the older version of Kunta Kinte in the acclaimed miniseries Roots and as James Evans Sr. in Good Times.
We have some positive news on the jobs front. The latest data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics indicates the labor market is strong. The number of available jobs in the U.S. grew in August to about 8 million. That's up from the 7.7 million in July, according to the Bureau. August's numbers show there's about 1.1 available jobs for every person looking for one. The industries with the biggest jump were construction, transportation, utilities, and state and local government. Meanwhile, if you work in finance or arts and entertainment, the numbers are shrinking.
California Governor Gavin Newsom has signed a bill that bans 6 chemicals linked to children's behavioral issues from school foods. The law bans foods or beverages with red dye number 40, yellow dyes 5 and 6, blue dyes 1 and 2, and green dye number 3. It won't happen right away. The California School Food Safety Act will be enacted on December 31st of 2027. Experts worry that chemicals harm children's ability to learn. Coming up in sports, a recap of boys soccer action around the peninsula. Could Milford stay hot against Smyrna?
And next, the strike is on. How long it could last and when you at home might start feeling the impact in your wallet.
And even though we're looking for a chance of a little drizzle, I don't think that should mess up your swing. I mean, it's going to be a little on the cloudy side, but we're going to get a consistent clearing. So we're going to go from not so good to pretty fair, mostly cloudy skies, and a few spotty sprinkles in the early morning hours.
This week at Johnny Janosic. Buy more, save more with up to an extra $1,000 off our everyday low prices or up to 60-month special financing. It's all going on now, only at Johnny Janosic World of Furniture and Mattresses.
I'm Mark Stevens from Hartley, Delaware, and I utilize the USDA's Wetland Reserve Easement Program to improve wildlife habitat for deer, waterfowl, and other wildlife while improving water quality. If you have at least 10 acres of woods or wet, unproductive cropland, you may be eligible for compensation to restore and protect the wetlands on your property. To learn more about the Wetland Reserve Easement Program, contact your local USDA Service Center.
Coastal Comfort knows there's no place like home. It's where we can be totally comfortable being ourselves, making a mess, making improvements, making strides, making memories with those we love, totally. Big or small, at the beach, or on the farm, all along the Eastern Shore. It's home, and Coastal Comfort is always here to keep you totally comfortable.
Coastal Comfort, a Carrier Factory authorized dealer serving Maryland and Delaware.
Carrier, turn to the experts.
It's a prosecutor's job to help keep families safe, and as state's attorney, I did so without apology, because I believe anyone who commits a heinous crime or anyone who harms a child must be held accountable. I worked with law enforcement and cut violent crime by 50%, and as county executive made investments to recruit and train more officers. I'm Angela Also Brooks, and I'm running for Senate because I never back down from tough jobs. That's why I approve this message.
Delaware Electric Cooperative is committed to helping the communities that we are proud to power. We offer the lowest electric rates in the state and give millions of dollars in rebates to members during the holiday season. Each year, we offer hundreds of thousands of dollars in funding to local nonprofits. Safety programs teach students how to be safe around electrical equipment. And through educational opportunities and scholarships, we are empowering the next generation of co-op members. DEC is proud to keep the lights on, but prouder still to invest in the communities we serve.
Find your better night's sleep for less at Johnny Janosic. Shop now and get a $300 MasterCard reward card on select brand purchases. And we'll haul away your old mattress for free for a limited time only at Johnny Janosic's Mattress World.
President Joe Biden is calling on both sides in Tuesday's massive port strike to return to the negotiating table and land a deal.
Well, a widespread port strike is never good for the U.S. economy. Its timing in the wake of Hurricane Helene and that devastation across multiple southeastern states amplifies the urgency.
Still, as Laura Aguirre explains, the supply chain slowdown could impact many consumers across the country if it lingers on.
They are taking it all the way to the picket line. Nearly 50,000 members of the International Longshoremen's Association went on strike at the stroke of midnight Tuesday.
We're out here for one reason, fighting for our rights, fighting for our families.
Our members have done the homework. They know their worth, and essentially they demand fair wages and better benefits.
But after weeks of tense negotiations with the United States Maritime Alliance, acceptable numbers on that worth haven't been reached. The alliance, which represents the major shipping lines, terminal operators, and port authorities, has offered wage hikes and claims the union isn't negotiating in good faith. Many members feel sacrifices made during the pandemic are being overlooked.
We didn't stop working. When the world went home, they couldn't go nowhere, the longshoremen, we worked these docks night and day.
Docks that are now at a virtual standstill along the U.S. East and Gulf coasts. This could stop the flow of a wide array of consumer goods into the country.
You're probably going to pay more for it, and it's going to take longer for you to get it.
The union says it won't be intimidated by a timeline.
Our membership's prepared to wait it out as long as it takes to secure a fair contract.
But the ILA's president does have a prediction.
We'll bring this country down in 3 weeks. Now it's time I want a piece of that pie for my members.
I'm Laura Aguirre reporting.
And the video on your screen right now is coming from Baltimore, Maryland. As of this report, there are no updates to this strike. When it comes to brokering a potential deal, labor experts say the White House has just 2 tools, using the bully pulpit and invoking the Taft-Hartley Act, which would force the longshore workers to get back on the job. Analysts at Bank of America predict the president will pull the Taft-Hartley Act lever if the strike lasts a few weeks.
Delmarva Sports Network from the Wawa Studios.
It's time to head to the pitch for some boys soccer in Delaware. Smyrna faced off against Milford earlier today in a Henlopen North battle. The Eagles looking for their first win since the season opener. Meanwhile, Milford trying to build on a 4-2 start. Smyrna and Milford battling it out. First half corner for the Buccaneers. Loose ball in the box, and Victor Carrillo bashes it home with the left foot. Milford leads 1-0. Same score into the second half. Milford's looking for more. FC Jacobo Ramirez rips one into the top corner. A dazzling finish puts Milford ahead by 2. They'd go on to win it and improve to 5-2 on the season. Sticking in the Henlopen, more boys soccer action as Delmar escaped Greenwood with a 2-1 victory. They improved to 5-4-1 behind the efforts of Mason Pusey and Silvano De Leon Ortiz, who each put up a goal in the victory. Woodbridge drops to 2-4. And over to some ESEAC action on the volleyball courts for Holly Grove. Greenwood Mennonite knocks them off in 5 sets. The Flames improved to 8-4 after this win. The Flames have also won 8 of their previous 9 games after starting the season 0-3. Make sure to subscribe to DSN Plus as we head into the back half of the fall season to keep up with all of the local sports action. That'll do it for sports. Have a great night, everyone.
Coming up next, 100 years for President Carter and why his focus is on 14 more days.
Take your favorite radio station with you wherever you go. Download free today.
I would never take a tax credit that I wasn't entitled to.
Angela Alsobrooks took tax deductions she did not qualify for.
Alsobrooks improperly took advantage of tax breaks she did not qualify for.
Alsobrooks claimed a homestead tax break for a townhouse she rented.
Alsobrooks is accused of improperly claiming senior citizens tax breaks.
She used multiple methods which she was not qualified for to save thousands of dollars.
No, I don't believe I'm above the law.
Maryland's Future is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Hey, you're coming with me today.
I am?
Mm-hmm. Come on.
My sister loves volunteering with her coworkers.
Heads up.
I asked her why she likes it so much.
This is my little sister.
She said there's something special about helping out with Food Lion.
Yes, of course. Have a great day.
You get to make people smile.
Here to fill tables and hearts with hope. Food Lion feeds, here for every moment.
Farmers are superheroes, true conservationists. We are using soil health practices to help fight climate change. Soil health farmers are working today to protect tomorrow, using regenerative agriculture and climate-smart practices like no-till and cover crops to improve soil health. Healthy soils sequester carbon, improve water quality, and produce sustainable, nutrient-rich food. Soil health farmers are working today to keep Delmarva a beautiful place for generations to come.
In 1925, a simple bank ledger began journaling the transactions of life in Willards, Maryland. New houses, barns, and farm equipment. Growing families and businesses both big and small. A record through time of hardship and prosperity. 100 years ago, the founding of the Farmers Bank of Willards was vital to the town. 100 years later, banking has changed, but the Farmers Bank remains steadfast in its original mission, keeping and reinvesting millions of dollars right here for the benefit of our communities.
We're bringing bright hope to Delaware by creating opportunity. As Secretary of Labor, I focused on preparing the workforce of tomorrow. And in Congress, I've worked to strengthen career and technical education. Jobs that might not require a four-year college degree, but do require skills. With jobs like these. Together, we can build the workforce of today and tomorrow. I'm Lisa Blunt Rochester, and I approve this message because our opportunities should be limitless.
Finally tonight, Jimmy Carter has accomplished something that no other former U.S. president has. He notched a 100th birthday, and on this rainy morning in Washington, D.C., a display with the number 100 and the message, "Happy Birthday, President Carter," was installed on the north lawn of the White House. Carter, who served one term in the White House, has been receiving hospice care for the last 19 months. The proud Democrat, who has grown increasingly weaker in recent months, has told relatives he wants to hang on until October 15. That's when early voting begins in Georgia, so he can cast his ballot in the 2024 presidential election.
Way to hang in there, Jimmy. All right. Excuse me, Mr. President. My bad, because he's definitely my senior. All right. So, one of few. Okay. So we're looking at Gateway Subaru, Ocean City. Hey, we're looking a little misty right now, but that's expected. Temperatures in the 60s. Now, as far as we're expecting, we have the coastal flood advisory still active along the interior areas and along the coast. Very gusty winds with our small craft advisory. Our umbrella giveaway winner is actually Nancy Richardson of Rehoboth. Congratulations, courtesy of Paul Davis Restoration, Home Remodeling. You can keep up with your forecast with our weather line, sponsored by the law offices of Baird, Mandalas, Buckstead, and Federico. You simply call 443-880-9100. Your forecast, believe it or not, is just a phone call away. And then finally, as you take a look at the Paul Davis Restoration and Home Remodeling exclusive 10-day forecast, we're going to be on a bit muggy side, particularly as we get into the weekend. We're going to start climbing from the low 70s into the upper 70s to near 80 degrees. And this is where the muggies kick in. Saturday and Sunday. It's October, but it's going to feel like a summer-like weekend. Why not? Okay, and then we'll have a chance of rain that kicks in for us by next Monday.
I like that Paul calls them the muggies. Thanks for joining us here for Coast TV News at 11.
For more news and local weather, go ahead and download our Coast TV News app.
The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon, that's coming up next.
And we'll see you tomorrow for Coast TV News at 5 a.m. Have a great night.